All right, quite a lot of participants are joining in. Thanks everyone for spending your morning or your afternoon to check what we have prepared for you. We're gonna start in just a minute. In the meantime, please drop in the drop a message in the chat. Tell us who you are. It's always nice to know who's joining our events. With you guys being sales professionals, I'm assuming most of you, you know how it is when you're joining a demo call without knowing who the person is. So same kind of dynamic. It's always nice to see who joins our events. So tell us who you are, where you're joining, where you're coming from, and what your role is in sales. Do you guys do sales development? Do you manage sales people? Hi, Oleg. Hi, Stacy. Hi, Nadine. Thanks for coming. Oh, fellow Canadians. Nice. USA, Houston, Texas, outreach specialist. Hi, Mansoor. Familiar faces here. Always nice to see people that we already know. Oh, quite a lot. Jen from Florida, BDM from Toronto. I'm curious if any sales managers or VPs of sales are here by any chance. Owner of a couple of IT service businesses, Shane from Missouri. SDR manager, hi, Riley. From Tennessee, Praneeth. Oh, well, quite a lot of people. All right. Again, thanks everyone for joining. We'll give everyone maybe 30 more seconds, maybe a minute to join the call, and we'll begin. Hi, Therese, business manager in Brussels. UK sales development, Martin. Sales director. Very nice. Very excited to see you all here. Mike from Utah. All right, guys. I guess we can start. Let me introduce myself, but also the speakers here today. My name is George. I am from Reply.io. We are a sales automation platform. For those of you who don't know us, we are kind of the organizer of this event, but we have amazing speakers here as well to talk about some of the latest AI trends and just generally the market, the revolution on the market, on the sales technology sales market in general, and what challenges, but also what opportunities are presented for the sales community by the rise of AI technologies and their specific kind of kinds and types that exist today. Again, my name is George. I lead partnerships here in the organization. Let me actually switch to the next slide. We also have Bethany from SenseSpark and Patrick from Kiln and Clay. I'll let you guys introduce yourselves. Let's start with you, Bethany.
Yeah. Hey, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I'm Bethany, and I'm the co-founder and CEO of SenseSpark. If you're not familiar with SenseSpark, we are an AI-powered video platform to help you create personalized videos to send out in your sales or marketing automation. So it's like if you've used Loom or Vidyard or any other tool to create videos of yourself or a screen or yourself talking over a screen, those are the types of videos you're making with SenseSpark. But instead of making a video for every person, you can just take one video and then use AI to personalize it for everyone you send it to in your reply IO sequences or your other types of automation.
Nice. And to make this a little bit more interesting and kind of non-standard, Bethany, I thought I would ask you guys, can you share a bit of a fun fact about yourself, if there is anything, just to let the audience get to know you a little bit better?
Yeah, for sure. So obviously SunSpark is most of my time, but in my free time, I actually do circus. I do aerial silks. So if you've ever been to Cirque du Soleil or some like circus performance where you see the silks hanging from the ceiling, that's my favorite hobby. And it's I highly recommend it for all of you computer workers because like all of the like times you're sitting and typing, silks is the opposite. So great stretching.
Nice. That's amazing. I knew that, but I'm still amazed. Patrick, please introduce yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, everybody. I am Patrick Spychalski. I am the co-founder of The Kiln. We are an agency that we use AI tools to make sales teams more efficient. There's obviously a lot happening in the world of AI all the time, lots of new tools, lots of exciting developments, and our goal is really just to make sure all of our clients are constantly using them to the fullest extent. I also run content at Clay. If you don't know what Clay is, it is pretty much an AI sales automation tool. Has a lot of different integrations, very exciting as a whole. And yeah, that's me.
Nice. Yeah, fun
Oh,
fact.
kind of in the same vein, I guess, in hobbies. I'm a very avid runner. I ran in college. I run like kind of semi-pro now. Training for the New York Marathon at the moment, hoping to run a decent time. But yeah, very, very competitive runner.
Nice. I try to run as well. Actually, you know what? Fun fact about myself, because I forgot to mention that. I do run as well, but that's not a fun fact. I thought the most interesting thing about me is I'm a first generation immigrant here in Canada. I've been here for the past 8 years. So um, kind of moved from an entirely different kind of background. And when I did so and found this job actually and got hired by a guy, only after being hired, I realized that 99% of the company that I now work for actually comes from my home country. So I didn't move far, which I thought was a a funny coincidence. So yeah. Let's begin. Probably let's talk about why we're here and why we decided to share our perspectives on using AI in sales. Before we begin, I did actually have one question for the audience to gauge and also to understand whether the research and our stats that we're seeing actually match the reality for at least the participants of this event or the audience. Share with us just one number from the three on the screen. Are you regularly using AI? It could be every day or at least every week. Some piece of technology that allows you to automate something or make something quicker. Do you use it? Do you not use it but want to start? And that's why you're here to learn about the new tools. Or maybe there's a lot of skeptics, and I talk to them every day. You think it's not ready yet, but you're still curious to see what is out there. So please share that in the comments. All right. So we have mostly one or two, which is, to be honest, was uh, my understanding of the whole vibe. Generally, I several times per week, Warren, thank you for sharing. Generally, what I've noticed, and I talk to customers and generally the sales community, sales professionals on a daily basis, I have a feeling that the sales community is a little bit more perceptive to new technologies because of the obvious benefits that it presents. Saves time, makes you more efficient, more productive. Maybe not so much in other industries, but it's great to know that people are open and receptive to learning about new technologies. And today, We're going to be trying to kind of make that a little bit easy, make that journey a little bit easier, talking about why we should use AI in sales. Then how specifically AI, different kinds of AI, not only text-based, large language model-based technologies could be used. And one great example of that is SenseSpark. How to write great email copy, and Patrick will share his perspective on that. We'll talk about how AI could potentially replace the functions of an SDR in a sales organization. And also we're going to take a few minutes at the end of this event to answer any questions you guys might have. So why AI, and why does this present a number of challenges? Why are we even here? Because, again, based on the dynamics in the industry, based on our own conversations with customers and partners in particular, we're seeing a few trends. AI is generally something that's a high priority, which we're going to talk about. There's some stats for any sales organization, especially in tech sales, which we are in specifically here at Reply. So people have fear of missing out. There's a lot of technologies. There's an abundance of tools. And if you've been following this as we have, there seems to be like a dozen new AI tools popping up every day. And that's not even an exaggeration. A lot of those are just wrappers for ChatGPT, but a lot of them are really interesting, impactful technologies that are worth spending time learning. So a lot of it is overwhelming, a lot of information, a lot of fluff, and obviously we all have limited time in our day. So what do we do? How do we focus on the things that actually do matter? Learning curve is another big one, especially with new technologies, because companies are rushing to put out new products as soon as possible. And that means that adoption might suffer because it's difficult to learn how to use it quickly. And one of the biggest concerns, obviously, is also accuracy and hallucination. But on the other hand, and I've done some research, I've looked around, I made sure to look at different sources online. I did not try to by the way, I used a lot of AI in preparing for this event, obviously. But what I've noticed from multiple sources like Gartner, like Salesforce, there's a bunch of other sources, which I'm going to talk about later, Forbes. We're seeing numbers like, and you can see here, almost 90%, 87% of responders of Gartner said that they're either planning to implement AI in their sales organization within the next 12 months, or all the way up to we've already implemented it. So vast majority. So the future is already there. We're already in the future. So which I found quite fascinating. This is one of the latest research papers that I could find. Gartner expects 60% of seller work to be executed by generative AI within 5 years, which is astonishing considering how little AI, relatively speaking, is being used today in the process. 97% of business owners believe ChatGPT and large language models will help their businesses. Again, overwhelming majority already are sold. Over 60% of business owners say AI will increase productivity, and 3 out of 5 workers already use or plan to use generative AI. This is based on a Salesforce research paper I found. And one interesting fact from HubSpot, which is on average, AI tools are already saving 2 hours a day for every salesperson, which is also a pretty significant number. By the way, before I continue, please share any questions that you have in regards to using AI within your sales organization. In the chat, we're going to try to answer all of them, either during this event or after the event. We're going to try to cover them all. we're going to have a Q&A session at the end. Moving on, another chart that I shamelessly stole from HubSpot. From those people, from those sales professionals that are currently using AI, they're saying that their work and their life is being made easier in these 4 ways today, and the percentage of those responders that said so. So 81% are saying it reducing manual tasks. 78% are saying it's more efficient. 66% are using those sales intelligence tools that help them better understand customers. And 66% as well are using it to provide personalization, thanks in no small part to technologies like Clay, SendSpark, and Reply. All right, so let's move on. I wanted to start with a bit of a ethical question, if you will, to the speakers on this panel, because I hear this sentiment quite a lot, again, with Reply's customers mostly being sales professionals, sales managers, and sales individual kind of contributors within sales organizations, which is, automation is awesome, but how do I balance this? How do I balance my willingness to adopt new technology and new automation tools with the fact that buyers hate being targeted via automation? We know that, and we've seen that all, I'm guessing. So let's start with whoever wants to go first. Bethany, do you have any thoughts on this?
Yeah, so what I would say is it's not so much that people hate being targeted with automation as much as they hate feeling deceived or like tricked. Like if you think about how people feel when getting a really well-targeted YouTube ad or Instagram ad, no one's like upset with Instagram for sending them a really relevant ad. But they do, like, people do get upset when they feel like you're trying to trick or deceive them. And they want to like show they're smart and smarter than you. So I think that the way to do it is like, one, to make sure when you're reaching out to someone, you're always very relevant. I think AI personalization can help a lot in that way. But also like be honest and open about what you're doing. Like the more it seems like you're trying to trick someone, the more you risk them being upset. But if you can be open about like maybe how you found their data, or you found they were on your website, or you found that they used AI to find that they're similar to your other customer personas. Like, I think it's okay to actually tell people that. Or if you're sending a video, like, you don't have to say like, I personally made this video for you when you didn't. You could just say, hey, this video, shows how we could help you. And be a little bit more open about what you're doing, and just focus on the fact that it's relevant and personalized, and not try to trick or deceive your potential customers.
Yeah, I completely agree with what Bethany was saying. I think like deceiving people, first of all, or at least feeling deceived, is probably one of the main points of being upset. I think there's 2 other things that kind of just like genuinely annoy me when somebody reaches out to me in an automated way. The first one is if the email or the message isn't like valuable or relevant to me at all, or it's like super templatized. I'm just like, okay, there's like no point even you sending me this message. Like, it wasted the 2 seconds of my time it took to skim it over, and it has no relevance to my business. And the second reason would be if they were trying to make a personal connection with me in some way, when it's like obviously automated. It's just like, if somebody's going to try to make a personal connection with me, I would appreciate it at least if it was like handwritten. But I think the way to kind of get around those 2 issues is to provide a lot of value in the message you're sending. This can be done in a variety of ways, obviously. Like, for example, if you're sending out a video and the video is automated, the video at least can be valuable in showing a few ways how your company, the prospect that you're reaching out to, can improve certain processes within their business. Additionally, if you're doing something more text-based, you could reach out with 3 or 4 recommendations on how they could do a certain thing in their business better. Or maybe like you could have like an AI-generated audit of a certain thing. Maybe it's a blog post, maybe it's a website. Things that are actually providing value, people won't really get upset about. I think as long as it doesn't really matter if it's automated or not, as long as you're providing value, in short. And obviously, as long as you're not like trying to trick them into thinking it was like, I don't know, trying to trick them or trying to like provide them with irrelevant value or something like that. But
Yeah.
as long as it's valuable, in short.
Yeah, I agree with both you guys. One thing I think about when generally talking about personalization using AI, whether it's video, text, emails, is and it kind of confirms both of your points, is if you're using automation, if you're using AI, uh, either make it valuable enough for the fact of using AI not being a big deal. And I think about myself whenever I get these messages. I'm actually getting a little bit excited, getting something that clearly states that it's AI based, but because it's so personalized, because it knows what my challenges are, and I'm getting a lot of those, a lot of fluff, a lot of ads, and a lot of spam. But some of those are kind of nuggets, and I always make sure to respond to that person to say, "Hey, I appreciate your effort in putting this together." But on the other end of the spectrum, it's usually kind of the cringy stuff that tries, Patrick, what you're referring to, tries to establish sort of like genuine relationship by using automation. And typically those people will scan my LinkedIn profile and start using some of the placeholders. Hey, you like memes? Because I have it in my LinkedIn profile. You like memes? Here's a joke. I thought you would like it. Or, hey, it's so awesome that you went to this school. Although the school that I went to, probably nobody in the Western world have heard of, but they would still mention it, which kind of cringes me out. But anyways, to keep things on a positive note, I like it's not only myself because I'm biased towards technology. I We do have a very good example of people appreciating AI with AI being transparent. A great example of that is our founder has a TikTok account, and in that TikTok account, he talks about AI technologies, new trends, new products, new interesting stuff on a daily basis. The person in the videos is an AI avatar, and he says so almost in every single video. Again, being transparent, but at the same time, that avatar, the last time I checked, probably a month ago, it was 70,000 followers were following the AI avatar for the content, for the value. Probably right now, it's probably close to or even above 100,000 followers, which kind of proves the point, which is if you're being transparent, but also go the extra mile to make sure that people will appreciate what you have to create and not just, use AI for the sake of AI, then that's the winning combination. And that applies to sales more. It's more relevant to sales to remote sales in particular because of the abundance of tools, which again we're here to talk about. Yeah, so I wanted to comment on somebody's question. We are going to be sharing the recording as always. That's a standard question, but it has to be said. Moving on, I wanted to again switch more into specifics, tactics, and for the presenters to share their perspectives based on the area of expertise of their specific technologies. So, Bethany, if you want to start with talking about AI as a video medium for sales.
Yes. Okay, so can people also comment in the webinar chat, like one, if you use manual videos for sales, like if you're using like Loom, Vidyard, SenseSpark, anything to record personalized videos, or if you're using AI videos, so something like SenseSpark to create automated videos at scale. And I'll just zero. Okay, cool. Yeah, so I see a lot of people using Loom, and what I would say like works best, or Vidyard, what I think works best is if you take the videos that you already know work really well. So wherever you're currently using Loom or Vidyard or a personalized video in the sales process, and then think about how can you scale this out and make it more repetitive. And what I would recommend doing, and I'm going to show you SenseSpark, is okay. So this is the SenseSpark platform. I'm going to show how you can create these AI personalized videos. And the concept behind this is it's as if you're recording like a personalized video of yourself over a screen. But instead of actually making unique videos for every person, you just create one video and then you can import your contacts and create personalized videos for every person automatically. So the end product of what we're creating is going to look like this. I'll play these so you guys can hear it, and then I'll show you how you can do this for your contacts. And just give me a thumbs up in the chat if you can actually hear it.
Hi, George. I just generated this video using SenseSpark's AI. So I didn't really just say your.
So it's one video. You can see I said, hi, George. I'm recording over his screen. But this has exactly the same video, just saying, hi, Patrick.
Hi, Patrick. I just generated this video using SenseSpark's AI. So I didn't really just say your name.
And one more for good measure.
Hi, Bethany. I just generated this video using SenseSpark's AI.
Okay, so that's the end product. And the way you can create this in SenseSpark is go into our dynamic video section. And then from here, you can create a dynamic video campaign. I call it demo for webinar. And you'll just record one video of yourself. That's that like main video you're using. But instead of actually saying your prospect's name, since you're sending the same video to everyone, you use the placeholder word watermelon. So in English, you'd say, hey, watermelon. In most languages, you can also say like hi in your language and watermelon in English. But for some languages, we give you a specific keyword to use. And you'll just add that one video here in this video section. In this one, it says, hey, watermelon, I'm not really saying your name, like blah, blah, blah. And then you can select your language, what you're speaking. And also when you send these out, like, when you send out a Loom or Vidyard video, you're sending out a link and people watch the video on the link. So you can customize what that page looks like with your own logo, your branding. You can add a template and embed your calendar next to it. So it's going to look something like this on the left. And then you can get a preview of the share page here on the right. And then you can set a fallback. So if you don't have someone's name, your video doesn't say, hey, watermelon, it'll say, hey there, or hey, friend. And then the last step, you'll just upload your contact list. You can upload this directly from Reply. We also have an integration with Clay, so you can build this into your automation. And when you upload the list, you'll just map in the fields. So, what should the first name be? What should the email be? What should the company be? I didn't use job title here. What should that background URL be? And then when everything looks good, you'll just click generate videos and we'll start creating those videos to send out. And it takes like a couple minutes to generate. So it's not instant, but it's going to be a lot faster than if you were to record every single video for every person. But you'll get the same kind of wow factor of using video and email. So, and again, I would say the time to use these videos is where you're already using a video in your sales process and you know that people respond well, but you just want to save time by creating these at scale. The last thing I'll show you is just how to send them. So if you're going to send these one-on-one, then you can like go specifically to that video and send it out. Or if you wanted to send it in your Reply campaign, you can click share, and then you'll see all of the platforms that we integrate with here, and you can just search for that video or for that email platform you're using, and we'll give you a dynamic video snippet that you can put in that campaign. So you just paste it in once, and every person who receives it is going to get that personalized video made for you. Versus like if you send it out this way, you can just copy the GIF and send it in an email here. So that's how it'll look. So cool.
Thanks, Bethany. There's a couple of questions there. I don't know if you've seen that, but can you say something in addition to "Hi, Mr. Doe"? Question from Juan.
You can, but the way it's gonna work, we don't have like a specific like title column. So the way it would work is you would actually just put Mr. Doe in here, and it works quite well. We actually work with a lot of German customers where it's very common to use like a title before the name. So we've tested this out a lot, but it's a little hacky. You just kind of would write in like Mr. or whatever you want that grading to be within the first name column, because this is what we grab when we generate the voice.
I'm personally a big kind of proponent of minimal interaction, minimal disruption of the natural way you typically speak. And the technologies that I've seen so far are kind of still revealing the fact that this might be an automation, but that's my personal take. But question from me, Bethany, is would you argue for or against more of that content? Maybe you have something down the road for SenseSpark, or would you argue in favor of like what I just said, minimal kind of, first name or Mr. something, and the rest of it should be as natural as possible?
Yeah, I think that the less like you try to put in the personalization area, the better in a way. And like actually what we recommend is you kind of create different videos for different use cases or different industries that you sell into, or like different times in the sales process. Like one's maybe for more top of funnel, it's really short and quick, versus one is for like a welcome video and it's going to have a lot more instruction and maybe even a product demo stitched to it. So I think it's actually better to like create just a few variations, and then just personalize the first name. It comes out a lot more like naturally. And if you think about it, like the more you try to automate with AI, the more room for error there is. So I think that, just you kind of want to play with that and like less is more in a way. But that's just my opinion. I think some people also like to like automate everything and are really good at that too.
Yeah, well, we have done so for a lot of our content. I have to say that it takes so much more time to force AI to sound even remotely close to being natural with with mannerisms and intonation and all of that. So I believe we're not there yet. I don't know when we will be, but I think this is like what SenseSpark is doing today is kind of the best combination. I know the answer to this one, but I also wanted Bethany, you to answer a question from Stanislav. On a recording, the lips will articulate watermelon. I know the trick, but can you please answer this?
Yeah, I'm gonna share the videos I made with you guys so you can see it. We are about to finally have like really good lip syncing, but it was a limitation when we first started. And so we do like a little bit of distraction when we're mouthing the name. So I'll send you the video so you can check it out, but the lips are not actually moving right now, though they will be very soon. We're in the final stages of just polishing this up, and then we'll release it. But let me post these so you can see. But the funny thing is, like, it's still, you got to know, like, people aren't really looking for like AI, like they're not looking that closely. And even in cases where I send like a little intro video and then I actually show exactly what I showed you. I show like a SenseSpark product demo. I've gotten multiple replies where people say, well, why didn't you use the AI for me? I'm like, obviously I did. Like, I showed you how I did it. So it's really good that even when I tell people what I'm doing, they often doubt that I'm actually using AI for it. So you can check out the lips and how we do it. And if you look closely, you can definitely tell, but we haven't heard anyone get in any trouble with their prospects yet. So.
All right, great. We got to move on. I wanted to let Patrick also share his expertise on copywriting. So, Patrick, the floor is yours.
Yeah, sounds good. Also, that was just an awesome demo, Bethany. Bethany and I have done like several of these webinars together, and every time I watch the demo, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's crazy. And I use SenseSpark. Like we use it for like half our clients, but it's still awesome to see. Anyway, so AI copywriting. There's two ways that I think you can do copywriting with AI best. The first one is the one that we use, which is kind of like a hybrid model where we'll write a majority of the template for the copy and have AI kind of fill in the blanks where we want personalization. The second option is where you have AI write the entire thing. So I was going to show you very quickly how we do both of those. So the first one, we use Clay, for those who aren't familiar. It's just like a very complex sales automation tool, but it has incredible functionality once you get the hang of it. So I will share my screen real quick. You can see it, right, George?
Yes, now we can.
Cool. So this is what a clay table looks like. It's kind of like a spreadsheet, but you can see that these columns have different logos associated with them. And all these logos are called integrations. And each integration does a different thing, but they can be segmented into two main functions. The first one being finding data, and the second one being using that data to write AI personalizations. That is, for the most part, what these integrations do. So for example, you can see this is an enriched company integration. We threw in the prospect's LinkedIn profile, and once we run it, we get literally all of their LinkedIn information right here. So you now have a ton of data that can then be used for personalization in theory. And then you can see right here, this is an OpenAI integration, and we got some of that company data, and we fed it into an AI prompt, and we output a certain personalization. So I wanted to quickly show you what this table kind of does, because it's obviously a lot of information, but I will quickly share a set of copy that I wrote. So you'll see here that I have written copy. This is for a corporate gifting plant store, actually. And they made surprisingly large amount of money for a store that sells plants. I was kind of in shock, but that's besides the point. The point is they sell plants to giant companies like Google, Microsoft to gift to their employees. And you can see in all of these brackets, we have personalization. So first line, first name, personalization line, a mission that the company's doing, a plant we're recommending the company like use or gift to their employees, and the reason why. There's a variety of different personalizations we include in our copy. So I've written out the copy, I've put the personalizations in there, and we've decided, okay, this is what we want to build out. Instead of manually writing every personalization, researching the company, manually writing every personalization, instead of doing that, we can use Clay to build out this entire flow. And so going back to the Clay table, all of the personalizations that were in that copy have now been built out using AI. And the process for building each personalization out is pretty much defining what data do we need to create this personalization, and then what do we prompt the AI to do to write it. So for example, one of the personalizations is a plant that we're recommending the company gift their employees, right? So I thought to myself, okay, what data would I need to recommend a company a plant? And I decided their location would be cool, right? So like based on the location of the company's headquarters, we'd recommend them a plant that the plant store provides. And so I went and enriched the company here. I found that they're located Chicago. And then I, of course, fed all this information into the AI prompt and applied it at scale. And you can see it recommends a plant depending on where they're located. So how do you actually feed all these personalizations back into the template? Well, any tool such as Reply, Smart Lead, Instantly, whatever sequencing tool you decide to use, you can put this template into the tool and then send it from Clay directly to that tool. So you just click Add Enrichment to use any of these enrichments, and voila, you can send it, all the personalizations into the template, and it just sends out AI emails at scale. So like we send out hundreds of thousands of emails a month. We pretty much just write the templates for all of them. And everything else is an automation build. The second option that I mentioned before is that you could also just have a tool write emails for you. There are like so many tools that do this. I just picked one that we've been trying out recently called Twain. But essentially you put in a bunch of information like case studies, competitive advantage, problem solution, ideal customer profile, and it'll write you an email. This is like a little bit less controlled than writing the template, which is why we've kind of erred on the side of caution for our clients, but it's getting better and better. And eventually you'll be able to write really good AI emails with a tool without having to do any of the templatizing. And of course, this is integratable with Clay, so you could write an email custom to every one of these people. And yeah, those are pretty much the two ways I'd say AI is best used right now. It's going to evolve constantly in every regard. Like I'm sure even with Bethany, like eventually these are going to be completely AI generated videos where you can talk about whatever you want and none of it's templatized, right? But we're kind of just moving with the times, doing what we think is safest and will still be most effective for sales teams now.
Exactly. It's all about productivity at this point and time saved. One question, by the way, for those of you guys in the audience that are using AI for email copywriting, share with us in the comments. Are you trusting AI tools like ChatGPT or Gemini to write your copy for you based on prompts, or do you still prefer the controlled, the co-pilot kind of model? So while you guys answer, I had a question for Patrick. So the what I thought was pretty smart is thinking of the specific connections for the variables that you want to use and the snippets of personalization you want to include, like location, the relation of location to specific plants. So you can mention that in the email, which I thought was smart. I was wondering if there are, like, for people who never used this approach or Clay with their email automation tool or multi-channel automation tool like Reply, uh, what would be the best way to approach this, like for a beginner? What kind of connections, what kind of models to use in that you have seen work very well? Like again, like a relation of the person's location to what I'm about to say, or something. Is there anything else that's more or less that worked well for you guys in your agency?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the general heuristic I use when I'm writing copy is pretty much like, what can I do to tie my offer into the company's function as seamlessly as possible? So for a plant store, it's a little more playful. Like, I'm here, go buy some plants from us. Here's a plant based on where you're located. But obviously, if you're reaching out to like maybe a CFO or something, with this is obviously to like marketing people and like human resources people. But if you're reaching out to a CFO, you probably should be a little more serious, because just as like a personality type, they're a little more serious. And the thing you're probably pitching them is a little more important than like a plant store, right? So ultimately, we just try to find something that connects really well to our company's value prop. So I'll give you a couple examples. One that we've done recently was we had an AI, pretty much like a site speed optimization agency that we were representing. They were one of our clients, and pretty much they would make your site speed improve by like 20 or 30%. And so we were reaching out to e-com stores, and we created this prompt that was like, hey, I saw your site speed is this. I saw your average product price is this, and I saw that this many people visited your website in the past month. Given all these numbers, if you improve your site speed by 8%, you could generate this much more in revenue, based on your like an assumed conversion rate of like 1 to 2%, right? So like, the point is, like, we gave them a very direct ROI to our service. We pointed out things that their company is currently experiencing, like this many website visitors, this average product price. And it was like a no-brainer. It's like, okay, their product is $8,000 a month, but if you implement it, you'll make on the low side $50,000 a month. Like, why would you not at least get on the call, right? So tying it into tying it into your value prop as much as possible based on company information is really our goal. And kind of ties back to my earlier point, which is like, AI personalization is awesome if you do it right and it adds value. Like, you shouldn't use it to be like, hey, I saw you went to like Villanova, go Wildcats. Like, that's probably, people are going to be like, immediately like, that's a red flag. Like, this person's sending me an AI generated email. But an email like that, even if it is AI generated, and even if they realize it's AI generated, it does still provide value, and they're probably not going to be too mad about it. So that's kind of the heuristic I use. Just add value in a way to connect your offer.
And
Yeah.
to add to that, like one thing Patrick's doing like super well that we help a lot of people write video scripts and write emails and all of that. And what I think works best is when you can narrow in on specific use cases. Because I think a lot of people feel the urge to like say everything your company can do, or describe things at a really high level because you don't want to leave everything out. But I would say like it just doesn't matter. It's one email. Don't try to capture everything your company does. Just one really use case, like really powerful use case of, hey, we can convert these website visitors you're currently using. Maybe that's only 1/10 of what that platform does. But if someone can see immediately the use case for how they can use it and get value right away, they're going to be way more interested to get started and get going, at least with one thing. And you can tell them more on the call, but don't try to sell everything in the first email.
Yeah, I agree. Because they won't care. Like, if you try to pitch Clay and everything it does, they're just going to glaze over it. So yeah, it's a really, really good point. That's exactly what we try to do.
Absolutely. We have a question from Frank. Actually, Frank, so Frank is asking if you have good cold outbound templates so you could share. I don't know if guys, if you want to share any ideas to keep ourselves focused on the AI stuff, Frank, we will send us an email. We will send you a bunch of information because we have done tons of these events, tons of these webinars, focusing specifically on the structure of the cold email. And but to keep ourselves focused on the AI, guys, Patrick, is there Any specific use case of, let's say, ChatGPT with the use of Clay to modify, let's say, the CTA or social proof or a problem? Have you used it for like a block by block by approaching those specific pieces of a typical sales email?
Yeah, for sure. And just to answer the earlier question, I sent over like a quick guide that I wrote a while back on how to write cold emails. It's literally everything we do all the time. And it's been working. So at least for now, it should be a pretty effective article. And to answer the other question, I'll say one thing that we do very often, that I think pretty much anybody can apply to their emails right now if they're AI generated, is to create a bulleted list of 3 ways that your thing can improve their business process for whatever reason it is. So for example, I'll feed the AI, here's what Clay does. Here's 50 things that Clay does. And then here's what this company does. And here's like generally what they're trying to achieve. Generate me 3 ways that Clay can improve this company's sales processes. And if you give it to a well-created AI like a GPT 4.0 or something, it'll do a really good job. And we've seen a lot of really good conversion there because it provides value. It's pretty in-depth and it gives a good idea of how they could apply your product or service to their company. So that's like one thing I think can be applied to pretty much anybody. And then obviously the more creative you get or the more direct you get, the better.
Such a good advice, actually. For those people who are not sure how to connect the dots and in what specific ways my value proposition relates to this prospect that I'm emailing, don't be ashamed to ask AI that. And actually, that's such a obvious but I would say overlooked kind of approach. Anyways, to move on, we only have about 12 minutes left. I also wanted to talk about some of our exciting AI related stuff here at Reply. Again, some of you might know us, some of you might not. Reply.io is a sales engagement system, or more broadly, outreach automation system with a big focus on streamlining sales processes and sales outreach processes so that you can reach out to your customers, partners, leads, potential customers, whoever you're talking to on a day-to-day basis at scale by running these multi-channel sequences with email, with LinkedIn, phone calls, tasks, SMS, and a variety of different channels. But the reason we're talking about AI today is because Reply is very bullish on using generative AI whenever it's applicable and whenever it's appropriate. Again, we're very big on not using AI for the sake of AI, which just happened to be one of probably the first sales engagement platforms that started using OpenAI technology years before it blew up, just in the last couple of years. But obviously with the last couple of years, it kind of dramatically improved in quality, in personalization, in everything. But anyways, our current iteration of applying AI in the process takes the form of what we call AI SDR, or with the brand name Jason AI SDR. I'm gonna start sharing the screen again and talk about why we decided to create it. But before I do, I wanted everyone in the chat to share their thoughts and their opinion on, do we think that AI is now capable of, I don't want to say replace because that's controversial, but perform the functions of a team member in your organization? Because obviously we're not going to be like firing people because, hey, I found an AI tool, so now you're fired. But sales leaders specifically are looking to augment their existing teams and scale their operations with the help of the workforce that they currently have in order to be more efficient, faster, and more successful in their sales journey. So let us know. David says not quite yet. So that's one opinion. But guys, please do share, because we're very invested in this sentiment as a company, as a technology, and I'll explain why. Because we believe what we have figured out, kind of the middle ground, the best approach. Actually, you know what? I shared the wrong screen. Give me 1 second. I'll share the right window. 1 sec. And there you go. So we believe that we found the kind of the middle ground for utilizing AI models, but not relying on AI where you're not comfortable doing so yet. And so let me start by saying that we started approaching this from the point of view of how do we streamline and automate and make autonomous the functions of what a typical SDR would do, or at least I would say like junior SDR within sales organization, which is typically three things in the process: finding leads, then writing emails or writing multi-channel campaigns to those leads in an efficient, scaled manner, and then booking meetings with those leads with the rest of your sales team, with account executives and sales professionals. So all three of those steps would benefit from automation, would benefit from utilizing a bit of AI, but we also recognize that the market is not there yet. The maturity of the technology in some places is not such that everybody is willing to jump on it. And also the general sentiment, like people are saying in the chats, it's not there yet. So at least the perception is that AI may not be ready yet. So we took that into account, and we approached this from the standpoint of you can let AI do all three of those functions fully automatically and fully autonomously, and it does so in a very efficient way, and it does work. But if you're not ready yet, if you're not convinced yet, you can take control of bits of that process where you're more comfortable with writing your own copy and not relying on AI, for instance. So let me give you an example. So our kind of workflow in that for this product consists of just simply 3 steps essentially, and the last one is just settings, which is A, give us some information. Tell us more about your business, and typically that's usually done through prompts. That's pretty much the given for any AI tool. But so what we've done is we've made it a little bit more fun. So you don't have to write your prompts if you don't feel like it. You can just type the name of your website, and we're going to pull those prompts based on the content of your website. So if I type reply.io, our model will know that you as a salesperson at Reply, you help sales teams in technology businesses to generate leads via multi-channel sequences by boosting sales, leads, and revenue. So I did not write this. I did not prepare this, or nobody at Reply prepared these prompts. We just pulled them from the website. It may sometimes, again, depending on how detailed your website is, we might want to maybe customize or change some of this. But generally, it usually works fairly well. The next step is to find leads. And this is by far the most impactful thing you could do by finding the contacts for your outbound cold outreach that are relevant and valid, the top 2 priorities. Now, what's important to say is this is not your typical kind of like integration with a ZoomInfo. I think somebody mentioned ZoomInfo. If you have a subscription to ZoomInfo, that's great. You can actually, and we encourage you to use your database, because ZoomInfo tends to be higher quality than some other tools. But actually, you know, it really depends on who you ask. So there's a lot of opinions, but this is not a database. This is not something we're showing you, hey, this is the list of 600,000 companies that we're gonna shove into your campaign. What we're doing here is we're allowing you to narrow down the search, and this is important. This is not just giving you a static list of everybody who we found. This is just to determine the types of ICP that we're going to be trying to find for you on a daily basis. And that's the biggest difference. This is not a static list. This is a live type of search that will continue happening autonomously based on the criteria and the filters that you specify here. And the filters are more or less something you probably are used to, the list of account names if you have the accounts that you want to go after, the industries, the employee headcount, technologies that they're using. Are they hiring on LinkedIn? For those of you who are in the recruiting space, for instance, job titles and everything else. So you narrow these things down. This number will change once you kind of recalculate it. But if it looks good, you can just proceed. And again, this is a model for searching for your leads on a daily basis in the amount of, in this case, 100 people. So we're going to be adding 100 new leads with their actual valid email addresses, their LinkedIn profiles, and other information to your sequence that we're about to create. So this is step number 2, identifying the ICP and identifying the people you want to go after. The third step is the copywriting. And this is more or less the second model that Patrick described, which is AI can write the whole email for you. And in this case, not the whole email, but the whole sequence with follow-ups. And they're already here at Reply, we've already applied a bunch of those best practices that work very well for cold outreach. In terms of A/B testing, spin tags, copywriting itself, the value proposition itself, because we're using the same prompts that you provided in the beginning about your business, what you do, who you sell to, and how you make their life better. So we have created the sequence, and we're good to go. We can launch the campaign. But before we do that third step, that's to close that automation loop in the process, the third function of an SDR, which is booking meetings, can also be programmed using AI. So if you go to handle replies settings, there is 8,000 worth of kind of additional context that you can provide for AI to be guided by when you get a response to this campaign. Now, and like I said in the beginning, you're still in control. You can decide, okay, I don't trust AI to book the meetings for me. I would like to still be able to handle those responses myself. But instead of having to write each and every reply manually, you can let AI at least prepare a draft for you. And that's kind of the default settings, as you can see. You can save the response as a draft. It will not be sent. You can still review it in our inbox section. Or if you're trusting AI, you can send automatically, and if the volume is such that you can just simply physically can't reply to everyone in a timely fashion, let AI do it, and AI will forward your not forward, but send your meeting booking link to your prospects right away, therefore booking more meetings for you. So like I said, in summary, because we're almost out of time, the idea is whether or not you trust AI to do your sales job for you, there are already tools that are recognizing the fact that the market is still hesitant, but already providing tons of value in the form of personalizing your video message in such a way that's almost indistinguishable from sending the same thing manually, but now you can make thousands of those videos in one click. Or writing your individual email copy, whether it's personalizing a brief snippet of it, personalizing the whole email, or the whole sequence. And as the next level of that, letting AI models do your certain functions in your sales organization, in this example, an SDR function, to do it kind of fully automatically. I know we're out of time, but to wrap up, I wanted to thank everyone who joined us. Bethany, Patrick, do you have any kind of closing words, any kind of final thoughts for today's event?
No, other than use AI in your sales if you're not using it already. It's super good. I mean, obviously my entire business is surrounding that, so I'm a little biased, but it's been working really well, so I see no reason not to.
Yeah, same. Like, thanks everyone for coming. Strongly urge you to try AI, and also just think about, is there anything that you can now do that you wouldn't even consider doing a year ago because it was so outside the realms of possibility because of the time, effort, whatever. And yeah, have fun trying out new things. I'm gonna put my LinkedIn in here too, so feel free to connect with me if you want to go over any ideas or if there's anything I can help with.
Yeah, connect with us, everybody. I wanted to make sure that this gets recorded into the YouTube video later. Scan our codes and connect with us on LinkedIn. We're always happy to connect with the new people and share ideas, talk about partnerships. Speaking about my role. But again, thanks everyone. Thanks Bethany. Thanks Patrick. This has been great, and I hope to see you guys more on a lot of future webinars as well. And thanks everybody who joined us today for this webinar.
Appreciate it, guys. Have a good one.
Yeah.
All right. Thank
Thanks
you.
for hosting.
Bye-bye.